Welcome to Rasbotomist News, HIM Channel 1035. Tonight on Rasbotomist News, we'll be bringing you interviews with some medical professionals regarding electronic health records. But first, let's start with some breaking news. The Manco campus is to host their career fair Wednesday, September 10th from 3 to 5 p.m. Manco campus will be also holding graduation ceremonies on Saturday, September 20th. So from all of us here at Rasbotomist News, congratulations to all our new graduates, and keep up the good work, guys. Now on to our electronic health records discussion. An electronic health record, or EHR as they're known, is a systematic collection of electronic health information about an individual patient or population. It's a record in digital format that is theoretically capable of being shared across different healthcare settings. EHRs may include a range of data from demographics, medical history and medications, to laboratory results and vital signs. The system is designed to represent data that accurately captures the state of a patient at all times, allowing patient history to be reviewed without the need to track down a patient's previous medical record. Due to all the information being in a single file, it makes it much more effective when extracting medical data for the examination of possible trends and long-term changes in the patient. So the question is your doctor up to date with electronic health records? Now I had the opportunity to speak with Mr. Robert Dennis, an RN, MSN, and BS. I was able to speak with him in his laboratory about electronic health records, and this is what he had to say. I began by asking Mr. Dennis if he'd ever used electronic health record systems in his many years, and if so, how did he like using them? According to Mr. Dennis, he had used them, and he actually liked using them. He said they seemed efficient, portable, and had a completeness about them. When I asked him to elaborate on what he meant by completeness, he just shrugged his shoulders and smiled. I then asked him how many years he had been in the medical field. Again, with a slight smile and a snicker, he just looked at me and said, "Young lady, many, many years." After a moment of silence, I asked him, since he did like using them, how did they affect his daily work performance? Mr. Dennis replied, even though the system was efficient, it was rather cumbersome to move around, and he nodded. I then asked if he found the patient was receptive to the system, and if so, why or why not. After fidgeting with some slides on his lab table for a moment, he looked at me and said he didn't notice they were really aware of it, but he had overheard a few times that it didn't seem very personal. He ended by saying, "You know, a person would rather you look at them and not a screen," pointed his finger at me and said, "Remember that." He smiled at me and looked at the clock on the wall. Feeling I was overstaying my welcome, I thanked him for the interview and began to leave. He said to me, "I thank you. I enjoyed talking about it. I do miss the old days." And that concluded my interview with Mr. Robert Dennis. And now, Christy, on to you with the weather.